If you're familiar with car insurance coverage, then you know that in Arizona, you're required to get liability insurance coverage to be legally driving on the road. You're also required by law to get a minimum amount of insurance coverage in liability. Currently, as it stands, the minimum amount that's required by the Arizona legislature ranks among the lowest in the country. That minimum limits insurance coverage can be pretty devastating if you're the one who's involved in an accident, seriously injured at no fault of your own, especially taking into consideration that an ambulance ride and then an ER visit can easily start racking up thousands of dollars at a time. If you're seriously injured in an accident and the other individual who caused the accident doesn't have the proper insurance coverage to cover all of your medical expenses, it can be pretty life-altering. I represented an individual who was involved in a cross-country bicycle ride, and as he was crossing through Arizona on his way to California, he was struck from behind by an individual who's driving a very large utility truck. The individual who hit him was covered by a liability insurance coverage that had $1 million worth of policy limits. That sounds like a lot of money. But what if I told you that as a result of the accident, the bicyclist had to be transported by helicopter 100 miles to the nearest hospital? He was in a coma for several weeks following the accident. He had fractured multiple bones, such as his skull, several vertebrae in his neck, his arm, his leg, his hip, his ribs, his collar. And even before he had completely healed, he had to be transported by air ambulance back to the United Kingdom, which is where he lived. His medical expenses in the United States alone was over $800,000. Taking that into consideration, $1 million isn't quite so much anymore. So the question is, what's an individual like that supposed to do? They're involved in an accident, it's not their fault, and the person who caused the accident doesn't have enough insurance to be able to cover all of the injuries and the damages that he's caused. Now, that bicyclist came to us and we were able to do some investigation and some research, and we're able to find an additional insurance policy that has an additional $4 million in coverage for that. The point is that you need to make sure in a situation like that you're checking all of the resources, all of the sources for potential coverage and recovery that's available. You may need some assistance in being able to do that. If some assistance is necessary, give us a call at Curry, Pearson & Wooten.